Welcome back to our continuing series of interviews with volleyball coaches, and folks from Houston know this pretty face from not too long ago. Of course, is Coach Lori McLaughlin of now Cedar Park. And do you ever hark back? Do you ever hark back to the Ridge Point days?
Do I ever what?
Do you ever hark back to the former team that you coached?
Oh, sure. I mean, I do keep up with some of those girls. Obviously, I followed them very closely this past season and was supporting them 100%. And I, only wish them the best. So, yeah, I mean, and actually it was kind of funny. I saw a memory that came up on Facebook. It was this week because, all the tryout memories are showing up, and obviously we're not able to try out right now. And I can't remember, I think it was 2013, and don't quote me on that because I may be wrong, but it was just saying it was my first year at Ridge Point, saying, hey, it's a new chapter of my life. And it was a really cool picture that I took of the gym, and it was like all shiny. There was no like scrapes or anything, and it was so cool, So, I mean, obviously it has a warm place in my heart, so it's all good.
Well, for those folks who are watching, tell us about the transformation to Cedar Park and now living here.
Yeah.
What we call Central Texas. Yes,
it's been amazing. I feel like the transition, because I moved in January. So right after, I led the team to state, I left in January. I left my family there because we didn't, we had to sell our house. We had to do this, and we wanted to keep the boys, in school as much as possible. So I was able to actually live with one of my teammates from college. She lives in Round Rock. So I actually stayed with her and her family for a good month and a half, almost 2 months. And I also coached track at Cedar Park. So before track season started, meaning with track meets, I was able to go home every weekend, and see my family. And then finally we got our house sold, and I had to come home to, do all that paperwork and stuff. And literally, we had a contract on our house in Houston on Friday. And then the next Friday, we found this house, and we had a contract on it. And then, everything else after that and during all this up till now has just been seamless. Everything happened so organically. Mm-hmm. It's truly meant to be that this was where I needed to be. Me and my family both. I mean, we are living our best life in the hill country. We literally bought a house in the hills. You go in our subdivision, it's like this, and we bought a boat, and we have a slip at North Shore Marina. So we're out. I mean, we quarantine very well on the lake, I will just tell you. So, I mean, we're doing well. My family and I have really been enjoying that. And actually, my oldest son, who will be a senior this year, he got a job at the marina this summer as well. So he's living his best life working with a bunch of college girls. So, hey, it's all good.
Yeah, that definitely works. You talk about the quarantine. Let's get into the COVID, question I'm asking all the coaches. First and foremost, how much has that affected you, your family, and your loved ones? And then secondly, how does that affect what you're doing with the team moving forward?
Sure. Well, I will tell you that my husband is diabetic. He's type 1. So when we went on lockdown, we went on lockdown. Now, I was the designated grocery store goer. And then I still, to this day, I sanitize all my groceries. My process is I bring them in to the garage, and then I sanitize them all, and then I bring them all back, inside. So I was already a germaphobe before COVID, but now it's to a whole nother level. I mean, I would go to the store with rubber gloves on and, all that crazy stuff. So I've been very cautious because I did not want to risk getting exposed and then having my husband exposed and even my boys. So I will say, whenever we got the green light to go to our strength training camps in the summer, I would be lying to you if I told you that I wasn't nervous. I definitely was, because it was all new for everybody, and I just had concern if things were going to be okay. And and they were. The plan that we executed within our campus and in our district, you know, obviously following all of what UIL's expectations for the criteria. I mean, we executed everything perfectly. No athlete got COVID from attending our camp. You know, we had a few people that got exposure, but it wasn't from our camp. It was from really, I'll just say select sports, because I feel like that's the issue that a lot of us high school coaches are having, or just coaches in general, is, you know, these schools, all of us public schools and even private schools are made to follow this criteria and saying, no, you can't work out your athletes, or you have to follow this protocol. But in the club world or select world or Pee-wee whatever, it's right. They can do whatever they want, you know? And so my son, my youngest son, he's going to be a freshman in high school this year. He actually ran select track, a summer track program, and towards, I would say a little over half the season, or I'd say into the track meets, like I had to pull him because I just didn't feel comfortable because there were so many people, and most people were wearing masks, but not everybody. Right. So I just, you know, I felt comfortable with the controlled practice environment. Mm-hmm. But the meets themselves, I got a little nervous, and I was like, we're done. You know, we're going to pull it. And so, like I said, I mean, all the coaches, all the kids, they executed everything. I couldn't have asked for it to go as smooth as it did. You know, of course, we had to, you know, give them the new normal of you have to wear your mask, you know, because then we got to the point where they did have to wear a mask. At first they didn't, but then we had to go to when things started, you know, escalating with COVID numbers. We had to say, okay, everybody's got to wear a mask now. Now the coaches, obviously we were all wearing masks already, but then just for extra protection, we had all the athletes, and they did fine. Like there wasn't, you know, occasionally you might have to say, hey, can you guys separate a little bit more? Because when we were able to start training again, they were excited because they hadn't seen each other, you know, and we right. totally get that. So, but I mean, everybody executed everything. So after that, and now going into our new teacher in service, because there's still a lot of unknown with our procedures, you know, because we're in the process of learning that right now. I feel like we too, as educators, will come up with a plan, because we want to be with our kids. We want to be in the schools, and we are going to do everything humanly possible to make sure we find whatever kind of system that everybody is safe. Right. So I felt very, you know, if I had to say what I learned, because that was a question that we got asked, that, you know, what did you learn about yourself or whatever during this COVID? And so I said, you know, well, the first thing is I'm so glad I'm married to the man that I am, because we're great. You know, after COVID, we're awesome, you know, and my kids and I still love them, you know, I mean, we're all good there. So, you know, I felt like I learned that, you know, because, you know, so you hear other people who have issues, you know, being with their spouses and their family for too long. They had major issues, but we're good. We can we're good. We can quarantine all day, but also I think it was that we executed a great game plan at our campus, and I think it worked fine, you know. And I wish that we could get back to training our kids, because that's where our frustration is, because we have all these other schools in our district, not Leander ISD, but in our volleyball district, who haven't stopped training, and we're like, hello. So it's frustrating, because we want to be with our kids so bad. And I mean, I could not imagine. I mean, my son doesn't, well, my youngest will play football, but I mean, you know, those football players, they need to be in the weight room. They need to be, right. you know, doing what they need to do to prepare for the game that they're about to play, and the impact. And I feel sorry. I feel sorry for those football. I mean, I feel sorry for all our athletes, but I feel like football more specifically, just because of all the impact and everything, that the strength that they have to have, and the stamina, and I mean, it's crazy. So I'm ready to get back into training. You know, you just see all these other schools who are still able to, you know, have their 2-hour skill session and still able to do weight room stuff, and we can't do it. And you know, we're just trying to hope for the best and stay positive, and you know, hope that things change and we can get back to training sooner versus later.
as enticing as much of a segue you gave me about talking about your district this year, I want to go back because I want to thank you for being so great about answering questions and stuff, because you were one of the few that answered the question about, anything you'd like to say about the team. And what didn't surprise me, because we talked after the district, and you said this, your girls bought into the program, your girls listened to you, and your girls executed what you and the new coaching staff wanted them to do. And that means so much. And where I'm going with that is this. If you look at last year across the state, very few new first-year coaches had the impact that you did on your program. And I think if you need a specific example, the first Rouse match in district and the second Rouse match in district, huge difference.
Huge difference, definitely. And I honestly cannot take full credit for that. A, my coaching staff, like we are a true staff. B, my kids. It's, and that definitely contributes to them being so like just sponges. And like I said, executing everything that we asked, they did it 100%. I had parents that supported, and that helps too when you have parent support and community support. And I mean, we've had all that, and we continue to have that. And so the possibility is just so great for this program, for our future, as long as we can continue to have these kids bought in. And that's, my staff and I, we're going to continue to work hard to even do even a better job, so we can have, we want that title, dude. We're coming after it. So we're going to do whatever we can to better ourselves as, individuals, and, with just how we coach, but also with the game of volleyball. We're just going to continue to grow.
Now, of course, Butch Hart and I, we specifically cover volleyball here in the Central Texas, Austin area. We'll send a note to UIL and say, hey, UIL, thanks very much for putting all those great teams in the same district, 25-5A. I'm sure the coaches don't feel that way. They send a letter of saying, yeah, thanks a lot, UIL. But, oh, my God, Georgetown, Rouse, Liberty Hill, Cedar Park, Leander, Marble Falls, Georgetown, Eastview, and Leander Glen. That is a nasty district.
It's nasty. And the region switched too. We're just like, what is happening right now? And so I think we're going to end up, because we're supposed to start the 14th as far as tryouts. So that will give us 1 week of pre-district that we can, have games. And it's, like, I haven't disclosed it yet because we're still waiting to get everything finalized and approved. But it's like we are going out the gates running. It's intense. Like we have, a duel on Tuesday, a big match on Friday, and another match on Saturday. Then we kick off with Georgetown. So I'm trying as much as I can to tell these girls, listen, you guys have got to be, you're going to have to be super disciplined right now, because obviously we're giving them workouts to do, but we're not able to train. So obviously all those other schools, they have a huge advantage right now, and we're literally sprinting out the gate with bam, bam competition, and y'all better get ready. There's no warm up. There's no nothing. There's no tournaments. It's let's go right when we start. So we are trying, my coaching staff and I are trying as best as we can to make sure that they keep that. I mean, I literally just had a meeting at my lunch break today with my leadership council and just reiterating, hey, don't forget. And they didn't realize that, like Georgetown and Liberty Hill and, all those other schools, they're training right now. They're like, we didn't realize that. I'm like, yeah. So, it's real easy because, I give the girls workouts, and one of the things that I have them do is take pictures or videos, and then I post about it on Twitter, and I go, it's real easy to, make it seem like you did the workout, and it's going to be really obvious when we do start training and we start working out that you haven't done any workout. So make sure you're being disciplined. So that's been a real mindset of what we've been teaching a lot with them. really since we've been out since March, because, you know, we did leadership training because I really feel like we need to keep this healthy all through that. That's got to be a priority for my kids, or really for all athletes and all students. But we've really been harping on that a lot, about having that right mindset, being disciplined. You know, our whole goal is when we get back to training and getting back into the gym, I want that gap to be as little as possible, because we don't have time. We don't have time to have, okay, well, what are we going to do here? I mean, we got to get it together fast.
Right. So with 1A through 4A kind of underway, and then 5A, 6A, like you said, you guys don't really start till the 14th of September.
Yeah.
Is there any, because you're that kind of coach, you're the kind of coach that will just, you know, as they call in baseball, you know, just super analytical. Is there anything that you can learn for your program, watching, looking, seeing 1A through 4A progress up until the time you guys get to go?
Yeah, I think so, because I think the 1A and 4A have an advantage because I feel like things are still kind of under control and it's not like shut down. So I definitely am going to be reaching out, because we haven't had any skills training sessions at all, you know, so I am planning on reaching out to them to find out, you know, what did you guys do? Because I don't really know what that looks like either, you know, and there's been some other surrounding districts and schools that have been able to do that. So definitely I would say that, but I was just telling somebody today that I hope us, and I totally understand why UIL made the decision about, you know, basically waiving out the starts, but I just hope that doesn't come back and bite us in the butt later when we're trying to finish district or playoffs or, you know, whatever that is. I mean, because of course, you know, you prepare for the worst, you know, at this time, but, you know, I just hope that doesn't come bite us in the butt.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think Jacob and Terry Wade kind of said the same thing. It's like, we feel like, and I had a conversation with Sam from TGCA.
Yeah.
Same thing. If we can get to the playoffs for 5A, 6A, we will feel really good.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, you know, and I know, like I said, we're still waiting to hear from our DEC, because when UIL made their announcement, hey, we're going to have a season, but, you know, whatever, then we had to meet as a district to find out. We had to basically send an addendum of what our like district protocols will be. So we had to get all that situated, but it still hasn't been, like, our schedule still hasn't really been, like, we don't know yet. So that's why I haven't sent any update schedule, because I don't really have it officially. So I just want to wait and do that until when that time comes.
And real quick, go back to district real quick. Talk about the teams. Leander, Glenn, Little Falls, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, Rouse. Obviously, you guys know Rouse really.
Yeah.
But talk about the other teams that are coming in.
It's just, the thing with these teams is they are led by really great people. So everybody that we work with in their district, they're amazing coaches. They're amazing people, but they're amazing coaches. So, you know, even though, like, some of them may or may not have as many club players as maybe Rouse does, or me, or whomever, or Georgetown, but they are very skilled coaches who know the game of volleyball. So that's just as threatening. You know what I mean? They still have great talent, but you know what I mean? You have to, they can balance it out just by their skill of who they are as people and how they coach and what they know with the game.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you said that, because, I mean, you look at Liberty Hill, well, they're 4A moving to 5A. Yeah, but you know what? They've been to state 4 times under.
Yeah.
You know, she always plays a up schedule. She's always playing 5A, 6A in non-district, you know, so she knows what that's like. You look at, who's the other one? Oh, Glenn, obviously, has done that. Leander's coming down from 6A. They played in 13 6A. That was a nasty district itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Ashley can run that. She's got that she can manage that program very well. So, I mean, all of them, it's just, it's hard. It's hard. It's not, our job is definitely not easy at all. Like our district, like you said, it's like boom. And then our region, boom, you know, with Dripping Springs and all of them, you're just like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's go, people.
Yeah, and Dripping Springs going to be by district. I mean, you don't
Yep.
even play a round or two. You're right into Dripping Springs, so that's going to be nasty. Hey, as I mentioned, you had a great impact. You were very complimentary of girls. Now we'll give you a chance to kind of, shine the light on your girls. The girls are coming back. And by the way, for those, it was so funny. What game was it? It wasn't Rouse. I was covering a game and one of your matches, and the opposing, I forget who it was, media guy comes up and says, "Can you tell me about this Abby Lemon?" And I said, first of all, if you ever talk to her or her parents, you better make sure you say Lamont.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not the right pronunciation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but they're such great girls. And I saw them the year before, and I mean, they played together, but this is just, you took them to another level last year. They were playing really well together, but there was court chemistry there last year. That was amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have that. We had that advantage last year because the girls really genuinely enjoy playing with each other and for each other. But just because you do that doesn't mean, that helps a lot, obviously, because if you don't do that, then when you have a bunch of individual players, that doesn't always go very well. But I definitely think that that's our advantage, and sometimes they're almost too nice. It's like, okay, but not that too nice is never a bad thing. You know what I mean? But it's just sometimes you need to somebody's got to be like, let's go, like get that pass right to me, or that block's not going to cut it, or come on, hit the ball, And I mean, they will at times, but they're just a bunch of sweet, really awesome girls, really amazing families. They work really hard, and I mean, I'm going to take that as long as I can have it, and I hope that can continue to be instilled with all the other girls as they're rising through the program.
Yeah, seniors, Caitlin Davis, Madison Alexander, Abby Avery Cole. That's a heck of a foundation. Then you got Megan Woods, Kate Alex, Dylan Gilkey. I mean, that's pretty darn good right there. And you still got tryouts coming up too, right?
Yeah, we still have tryouts because we haven't been able to do anything. So yeah, we still, we still have to have tryouts. I mean, that's kind of part of it. We've got a lot of data to look at. I haven't seen the girls, meaning just like my girls under one roof, play at all.
Wow.
Zero. So I mean, it's since the season has ended, because when we got out for COVID, we were about to start hitting the gym, because basketball season was finishing, because we only have 2 gyms at our school. So it makes it hard and challenging to be able to get into a gym. And it's not because my basketball coaches don't want to work with me. That is not the case. I just want to make sure I clear that up. Like, I've been blessed at every school I've been at that my basketball staff and I were like this, which is great because you need that. And even, sometimes, your drill team instructor, your cheerleading instructor, because sometimes you guys have to share the gym. So I've been blessed at every school that has never been an issue, because I know that can be an issue for sure. So, but, we did graduate 2 seniors, and that's not necessarily easy because, they were very impactful players. But we definitely do have a lot of returning, which helps for sure. But we can't take it for granted that we have this extra month before our season starts, because there's some bad things that can happen if we don't take it seriously between now and September.
Right. Okay. So final thought, anything you want to throw out there about your program, about your community, anything you want to talk about?
I think I've pretty much said, everything. I cannot continue to emphasize how grateful I am of this opportunity to be here. I love this community. I love Central Texas. I love the game of volleyball, and I just want to continue to try to really help contribute to blow volleyball up in Central Texas, because I know that was definitely done. It's in the Houston area for sure. It's in the Dallas area, but I just want to do what I can to continue to grow it, and let's get a bunch of Central Texas state champions. I mean, how awesome would that be?
That would be great. And maybe if you can get a state championship for volleyball at Cedar Park, you can get another gym built. What do you think?
Hey, that sounds like a great idea. And maybe even like an indoor training facility. I mean, why not? Let's just go all out. Get more turf, so turf fields and turf this, so we won't have issues when it rains. So I think that's a great idea. That's not too much to ask.
All right, we'll get going on it, will you? Work on that state volleyball champion.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm looking forward very much to the season, and just hoping for the best for everybody, and everybody stays healthy. But I'm telling you, we want to coach our athletes, so I'm glad we are having a season. But we want to get back in the gym. So yeah, there you go.
All right. Oh, by the way, real quick, 2 wins away from 400 for the career. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a big, so my husband and I, well, first, let me say this. I'm 2 wins away from that, which I'm not one that likes to toot my own horn on that, but I didn't really realize that until you had me do the math on my career overall wins. So I was doing that. So that, and then I'm turning 45 this month.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and then my husband and I are celebrating our 22nd wedding anniversary this year as well. So
wow, a lot of milestones there.
Yeah, so we got some milestones going on, so it's kind of crazy. But it's just 45. It's just a number. I'm good with it. I'm in a good place, so it's all good. I'm not really worried about it. But it's weird actually because my younger son, he's an August baby, and this is the first time that I will actually be with him on his birthday, because I'm usually at a tournament, like a traveling tournament, an out-of-town tournament. So this is the first time I'll actually be with him, and then I don't think I'll be working like volleyball on my birthday. And usually I'm in a tournament there as well. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, it's all good.
First of all, enjoy it while you can, because hopefully next year we're back to normal.
Okay? Yeah, I'm praying for that.
Schedule, right. The other thing is, I want to bring this up because I'm hoping other coaches are watching. One thing that I got on Gretchen Peterson, because I've been calling Liberty of Volleyball one way or another since 2007. And I love Gretchen. She's a former player, 2-time state medalist at Round Top Carmine. And she didn't have any kind of career record whatsoever as far as how many wins she had, losses, whatever. And I started keeping track, I think 2000, when they first went to the regional tournament. That was a big deal. I think it was 09. Okay. So I kept, the records. And got to the point where it's like, okay, you've been to state 3 times. I need your career. We need to figure out how many career wins you have. And her husband, Brian, and I, we were able to put that together. My point is this. Every volleyball coach should know what their record is, to me, as a media person.
Yeah.
Because people like you, and it does not surprise me that you said that you really hadn't figured it out until, it was requested. That's one thing that for the media, that's important to us, because we want to put that out there, because coaches like yourself will never put it out there. You're not going to, this kind of thing. But coming around to the point, Gretchen celebrated win number 400 last year, right before the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
400. And she was just thrilled. She loved it. She's thanked me over and over for helping her get that. And that's not a pat on the back of me. It's just, coaches need to have those benchmarks, because 99% of you will never put that out there.
Yeah.
But you need to be recognized for, your achievements as well. And all the people say it's all about the girls, it's all about my assistants, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But from the media standpoint, get your records, accumulate that stuff, because there is that one little slice of instance where you need to be recognized for what you've accomplished as well.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not one, even when I was recognized for Coach of the Year this past season, I don't like to toot my own horn, not that I wasn't extremely grateful, and it was a huge honor to be named especially with everybody that was on, in the running for that. But that's just not me. I don't like to toot my own horn. That's just the way I am.
And the reason, you've been, like I said, you're really good to me and the media as far as, gets the information, but it's also our job as media people to get out about the fact that one of the greatest first year coaches accomplishments was at Cedar Park because it was.
Yeah.
That's our job to do that. So we work together. You know, you give your coaching staff, your community, the girls all the love, and we will in turn do our job. And when a coaching instance happens, like with the impact that you had on Cedar Park, and oh, by the way, I guarantee the other coaches in district, like, damn, why didn't she stay back at Ridgepoint? You know, what you've accomplished. But that's our job to do that, and we will actually do that.
Well, that's very kind. I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for the visit. And as I've told other coaches, but I know I'm going to see you very soon. Once we start playing volleyball.
Yes, sir. It was always a pleasure. And you take care and be safe.
And everybody else be safe. All right. Okay. So this is Chuck Licata with Coach Lori McLaughlin, Cedar Park Timberwolves here on VYPE and VYPE Live.